are the best places to hide during a zombie apocalypse? Zombies are iconic because they represent one of our deepest primal fears, the fear of being eaten alive. They've been embraced in our culture in movies, books, and television shows. They've even become so popular that the CDC has a section on their website called Zombie Preparedness for 11 years now. Even though the chances of a zombie apocalypse actually happening are small, the steps taken to prepare for this are the same ones that prepare you for most other emergencies. So it's a case of better safe than sorry. So where exactly would be the safest places to go during a zombie apocalypse? And have you started preparing? Well, let's cover a few details to set up our scenario. First, that any outbreak would happen in a large city or leaked from a lab either in or near that city. The first infected would be people in the hospitals or homeless people living on the street. Drug addicts shooting up and abandoning buildings would also be at high risk of becoming part of the first wave of zombies. Second, that the zombies are like those in The Walking Dead. Quick at first, but slowing down the longer they don't feed. So when zombies do break out, you'll want to do one of two things first. Either hunker down for a long stay, or two, get out as fast as you can trying to get to your bug out location in a rural area. Heavily populated areas should be avoided at all costs, but if you're already in one and you can't get out, then you'll need to be well hidden, well stocked up on supplies, and completely quiet until the zombies leave the city in search of food. Your best friend is now going to be your map. That will let you know where to go, what places are easy to defend, has room to grow food, and a fresh supply of water. However, it must be said that you should already have a location in mind to escape from the city. So let's talk about boats. They are a great way to get away from land to survive, but they do not hold unlimited supplies, and you'll eventually have to make it back to shore to stock up on more supplies and food. That, of course, puts your raiding party in danger of being eaten. On a boat, as well, you cannot grow enough food to feed everyone in your group. The boat, however, is a great way to get out of the area fast without encountering zombies along the way. You can make most of your journey this way in relative safety, so long as you make sure no one is infected with the virus by being bitten or scratched in advance. So in essence, a boat or a ship is a good way to travel with some risk, but you cannot live there permanently. What about using the ship or boat to go to a deserted island, far away from the outbreak? There are 2 million islands. A few thousand of these islands are populated. Seems like a good idea. And you go there. So what do you find? A completely barren island with no buildings to house people, no water wells dug. You'll have to build from scratch everything you need. Now this includes building shelter, planting crops, and finding fresh water. Hopefully you can get all this built before you run out of supplies, or the next group of survivors landing there will find nothing but what's left of your supplies and the zombies that you have all become. So what about a prison? Since the television show The Walking Dead made prisons famous as a refuge, a lot of people think of this. It's both a good idea and a bad idea. Modern prisons, those built after the late 1970s, are less dependent on high, strong walls than they are on security features such as cameras and other electronic monitoring devices. Newer prisons are more easily accessed, even with the power being out, as most doors could be forced or broken open. Older prisons, however, such as those built in the 1950s and 60s, are actually not bad in some cases, depending on the structural integrity of the prison. These prisons were built to prevent people from escaping before the electronic age. Notice the high walls and plenty of room for gardening and planting crops. This is a Holmesburg prison in Philadelphia, PA. One of the potential downsides is that it is in a large city, surrounded by the general population, but it would be a great place for those with no way out to try to make it to. The next place you could go would be Alaska or the Northwest Territories if you're in North America. Zombies are cold-blooded, would freeze solid before they could get to you, except in the case of their 2-month summer. During that time, you could either fight when zombies get there, or avoid them for 2 months so that they freeze, and then bat the heads off them like zombie snowmen. Alaska and the Northwest Territories are full of game to eat, so you'll need to learn how to hunt and fish, as well as construct cabins. The area is mountainous, so if you pick a valley above the Arctic Circle, you'll be fine for the most part. It will definitely be hard living, but it can be done. Natives have lived there for centuries. You might want to learn from them. Eventually, you'll be able to move back once the zombies die of starvation, but the cities will probably be unsafe due to a lack of maintenance. Buildings will be falling around you, and the urban areas will now become home to wild animals that have escaped from zoos, such as lions and tigers, raccoons and bears, and other animals. While some may be good food, it might be too dangerous to think about trying. Even man's best friend, the dog, will be by this point reverted back to the wild creature as he was, because he has had to hunt for his food in packs since no one was around to feed him. However, this does not mean that new villages cannot be built, preferably close to the old cities, so that some supplies like tools and clothing can be scavenged, as well as books. Humankind has faced many disasters since its inception. With proper preparedness, we can survive this one too.